Hey everyone! Welcome back! Today we're talking about one of the funniest pranks in the office, and honestly, this scene is a perfect example of why Jim and Dwight have one of the greatest comedy rivalries ever shown on television. At first, it feels like an ordinary conversation in the office, but within just a few minutes it turns into an unforgettable prank that leaves Dwight completely speechless. The scene begins with everyone discussing plans to go out together. Roy isn't very excited because everyone has to pay for their own drinks, and he complains that it's pretty lame. Pam, trying to keep the conversation fun, jokes that she's actually an expert at roulette. It's just a harmless joke, but Dwight immediately interrupts her. He confidently explains that roulette isn't a game of skill at all. According to Dwight, it's nothing more than pure chance. That's exactly who Dwight is. He loves correcting people and showing everyone how much he knows. Jim notices Dwight's serious attitude immediately. Instead of arguing with him, Jim quietly creates the perfect setup for another prank. With a completely calm voice, Jim says that he can always win at roulette. Dwight looks confused and asks the obvious question. How? Without changing his expression, Jim simply replies, mind control. At first, Dwight laughs because the idea sounds completely impossible. But then something interesting happens. Jim doesn't smile. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't even hint that he's joking. He keeps a completely straight face, making the story sound strangely believable. Jim goes on to explain that ever since he was 8 or 9 years old, he has been able to control small objects using only his mind. He says it started with tiny things like making a marble roll across a table or causing little objects to shake. The story sounds ridiculous, but Jim tells it so naturally that Dwight slowly begins questioning whether it might actually be true. This is where the comedy becomes brilliant. Jim understands Dwight's personality better than anyone else in the office. Dwight wants proof for everything, but at the same time he's fascinated by unusual ideas. Jim knows that if he stays serious long enough, Dwight will eventually start believing him. Instead of calling Jim a liar, Dwight decides to test him. He points toward a coat rack and challenges Jim to move it using only his mind. Then Dwight makes the situation even more dramatic. He stands up and announces to the entire office that Jim is about to demonstrate his telekinetic powers. He tells everyone to remain completely silent so Jim can concentrate. Suddenly, the office becomes quiet. Everyone stops working. Every pair of eyes is focused on Jim. Jim slowly walks toward the coat rack. He takes a deep breath. He closes his eyes. He pretends to gather all of his mental energy. The silence makes the moment even funnier because everyone is waiting to see something impossible happen. A few seconds pass. Not